Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really diving into a question I think a lot of men wonder about, maybe silently, but don't often ask out loud. What really happens to your prostate if you, say, masturbate every day?
Yeah, it's one of those topics, isn't it? Kind of shrouded in stigma, lots of, misinformation floating around. Not much actual science discussed openly.
Exactly. And that can lead guys to just, ignore potential warning signs, maybe out of embarrassment or uncertainty.
And that's precisely why we wanted to tackle this today. Our mission for this deep dive is really to cut through all that noise, break the taboo a bit. We're going to look at the real science, what research actually says about ejaculation frequency and prostate health.
That's right. And we'll also uncover 3 pretty significant changes your prostate tends to go through after age 40. And then, importantly, give you a straightforward kind of actionable plan for, long-term prostate health.
Definitely. And stay with us, because we do have a tip later involving a really common food, probably sitting in your kitchen right now. It's something of a quiet powerhouse for your prostate.
Okay, intriguing. Let's unpack this then. Where do we start? The prostate itself.
Yeah, let's start right there. Basics first. So what is the prostate? Fundamentally, it's a small gland, often described as walnut-sized.
Okay, walnut-sized. And where is it located?
It sits right below your bladder, and it actually wraps around the urethra. That's the tube, of course, that carries urine out of the body.
Got it. Below the bladder, around the urethra, and its main job.
Its primary function is producing the fluid component of semen, the stuff that nourishes and transports sperm. So it's absolutely crucial for the male reproductive system.
Tiny gland, big responsibility, so essential for reproduction. But, okay, here's where it becomes really relevant for men as they age. What happens after 40?
Right. So as men get older, particularly after hitting 40, this small gland naturally tends to, grow, enlarge. This common growth, it has a name, benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH for short.
BPH.
Right. And while it's a totally normal part of aging for most men, the catch is, as it gets bigger, it can start to squeeze that urethra it's wrapped around.
Ah, okay, so the enlargement leads to squeezing, and that squeezing, that's where the symptoms come in.
Exactly. That squeezing is what leads to those classic, often quite annoying urinary symptoms many men start noticing.
Like what, specifically?
Well, we're talking about things like difficulty getting the urine stream started, or maybe the stream itself is weaker than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Also, having to wake up multiple times during the night to pee. That's a big one.
Yeah, that sounds frustrating.
It is. And also that nagging feeling that your bladder isn't completely empty, even right after you've gone.
Okay, so if you're experiencing any of those, it's likely, or could be, the prostate changing.
It's very possible. It's your prostate sending you a signal, basically. You're definitely not alone if you notice these things.
Which, I guess, brings us right back to the core question that kind of kicked off this whole deep dive. Is frequent ejaculation, whether that's from masturbation or, with a partner, is it actually good or bad for your prostate health?
Right. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the science here, for many people, it turns out to be quite surprising.
Okay, tell us about the science. Is there solid research on this?
There is, actually. What's really fascinating here is a landmark study. It was published in a very reputable journal, European Urology. And this wasn't just a quick look. They followed thousands of men. Thousands, for nearly 2 decades.
Wow, okay. Thousands of men, almost 20 years. That's some serious long-term data. So what did they find? What was the link?
They found a really strong link, actually.
Yeah.
It turns out that men who ejaculated more frequently, and the specific number they highlighted was around 21 or more times per month.
21 or more times a month.
Those men had a significantly lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to the guys who ejaculated much less often, say only 4 to 7 times per month.
A lower risk with more frequency? That's pretty counterintuitive to some old ideas, right?
Absolutely. It really flips some traditional myths on their head.
So what's the theory behind why more frequent ejaculation might be protective? You mentioned flushing out.
Exactly. The leading theory is called the prostate flushing hypothesis. Kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, sounds logical.
The basic idea is that each ejaculation helps to, clear out the prostate gland. It removes old cells, and potentially it flushes away harmful substances or even carcinogens that might otherwise just sit there and accumulate within the gland.
Ah, okay. So things that could trigger inflammation or maybe abnormal cell growth down the line?
Precisely. Think of it like like cleaning out the pipes regularly. And you prevent gunk from building up and causing problems later on.
Cleaning the pipes. I like that analogy. It provides a really clear visual. Makes intuitive sense. But, and this is important, right? Is frequent ejaculation like a magic bullet? Can you just rely on that alone?
Excellent point. And no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. It is definitely not a magic bullet. If we connect this back to the bigger picture, overall health, it's just one piece of the puzzle. One beneficial factor, yes, but it has to be part of a complete healthy lifestyle.
So it doesn't replace other healthy habits?
Not at all. You can't just, ignore a balanced diet, skip exercise, avoid your doctor's checkups, and think frequent ejaculation alone is going to protect your prostate.
Right.
It works together with overall wellness. It sort of supports the body's natural processes when everything else is also in good shape.
Okay, that's a crucial clarification. It's a contributing factor, not a cure-all. So beyond this potential benefit of regular pipe cleaning, as you put it, what else is fundamentally happening with the prostate as men get older? Let's get into those 3 major changes after 40.
Right. So the first major change is that enlargement and the potential for fluid retention we already touched on with BPH.
Okay, the basic growth.
Yes.
Yes.
As the prostate naturally expands with age, it can become, less efficient at fully expelling its fluids. Things can get a bit backed up, leading to retention.
And what are the consequences of that retention?
Well, it can create that constant feeling of pressure or discomfort, some men report. And maybe more importantly, from a health perspective, it can contribute to chronic low-grade inflammation.
Inflammation again. That seems to pop up everywhere in health discussions.
It really does. And we know chronic inflammation is a key driver for so many health problems affecting the entire body, not just the prostate.
Okay, so enlargement and fluid retention leading to inflammation. That's change number 1. What's the next big one?
The second major change involves hormones, specifically hormonal shifts.
Okay, testosterone related?
Partly. As men age, testosterone levels do naturally begin to decline somewhat. That's pretty well known. However, at the same time, something else is happening. The body starts converting some of that remaining testosterone into a much more potent hormone.
And more potent?
Yes, it's called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT.
DHT.
Okay.
And what does this more potent DHT do?
Well, high levels of DHT are known to directly stimulate prostate cells to multiply. Basically, it tells them to grow.
So it actively fuels the enlargement we just talked about.
Exactly. This shifting hormonal balance, particularly the increase in DHT relative to testosterone, is considered a major factor driving those age-related prostate changes like BPH.
So it's not just testosterone dropping, it's this conversion to DHT that's a key part of the mechanism. That's really interesting. Okay, what's the third key change?
The third major change is basically an increased risk of cellular abnormalities.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, think about it like this. Every single day, your body is busy replacing old cells with new ones. Billions of cell divisions are happening constantly.
Right, constant turnover.
Over decades and decades, with literally billions upon billions of these cell divisions occurring. The simple statistical chance of a mistake happening during replication just goes up.
Like a copying error?
Sort of, yeah. A mistake that could potentially lead to the growth of abnormal cells.
Okay.
And when you combine that natural age-related increase in error potential with the chronic inflammation we mentioned and those hormonal changes driving growth, well, the overall risk for conditions like prostate cancer increases. And this is precisely why being proactive, why screening becomes so critically important as men age. It's not just a good idea, it's really essential.
That makes a lot of sense. Age, inflammation, hormones, a triple threat almost, increasing the odds of something going wrong at the cellular level. Now, okay, these factors, aging, hormones, inflammation, they're pretty well established in mainstream medicine, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But we should probably touch on something a bit different. There's some other research out there, maybe more controversial, particularly from Japan, I believe.
That's right. There is some, let's say, breakthrough or perhaps alternative research, primarily linked to scientists in Japan, that points to a potentially different root cause for a lot of common prostate issues.
Okay, different how? What's their theory?
Well, they believe that the real reason millions of men suffer from urinary problems and prostate enlargement isn't just hormones or simple inflammation. They talk about something called a hidden prostate clog.
A hidden prostate clog? What exactly do they mean by that?
They describe it as essentially a hard ball of built-up material, old cells, maybe toxins accumulating inside the prostate over time. This clog, they argue, physically slows down circulation within the gland and directly squeezes the bladder and the urethra, causing the symptoms.
Okay, that sounds quite distinct from the standard BPH explanation. It's a very physical, mechanical idea.
It is, and it's definitely controversial because it challenges that conventional understanding, focusing on hormones and diffuse inflammation.
So what's the reception been like in the wider medical world? Is this gaining traction?
It's crucial to understand this theory is not widely accepted by the mainstream medical community. The Japanese researchers claim they've pioneered a simple method, using supposedly a powerful spring water juice.
Juice?
Yeah, that's the claim. They say it dissolves this clog quite quickly, in days even, allowing men to urinate more freely and actually shrinking the prostate rapidly.
Okay, that sounds, well, almost too good to be true, perhaps.
Well, that's the controversy. Significant, independent, large-scale studies are really needed to validate these specific claims. The existence of this clog, as they describe it, and the effectiveness of this juice remedy.
Right.
So it exists as an interesting alternative viewpoint, but it's very much outside the established evidence-based practices that guide most medical recommendations for prostate health right now.
Got it. So an intriguing idea, maybe something to keep an eye on for future research, but definitely not standard medical advice at this point.
Precisely. It's important to be aware of different ideas, but critical to prioritize what's supported by strong, broad evidence.
Okay, good clarification. So with that important context, let's pivot back to what men can do based on that well-established science to actively maintain good prostate health. You mentioned a 4-pillar action plan.
Yes, 4 foundational pillars. And pillar number 1 is simply annual medical checkups.
Non-negotiable, right?
Absolutely non-negotiable. Starting around age 40, maybe earlier, if you have a family history of prostate issues, talk to your doctor about the right time for you. But you need that annual checkup.
And what does that typically involve for prostate screening?
It generally involves 2 key components. First, the PSA blood test. PSA stands for prostate-specific antigen. It measures a protein in your blood.
Okay, PSA test. And the second?
And second is the digital rectal exam, the DRE.
Ah, yes, the DRE. Let's be honest, nobody looks forward to that.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's maybe a 15-second procedure. 15 seconds.
That quick.
That quick. And it can genuinely save your life. Your health has to come first. Early detection is, without a doubt, the single most important factor in successfully treating prostate cancer if it does develop.
15 seconds for potentially life-saving information. When you put it like that, it's a no-brainer, really. Just get it done.
Exactly. It's quick, it's vital. Don't let embarrassment or fear stop you.
Okay, pillar 1, checkups, including PSA and DRE. What's pillar number 2?
Pillar number 2, focus on an anti-inflammatory diet. You've got to fuel your body correctly.
That makes sense, given the inflammation link we discussed.
Right, so this means actively reducing, or even better, avoiding foods known to promote inflammation. We're talking about things like red meat, especially processed meats, heavily processed foods in general, fried foods, and definitely excess sugar.
So cut back on the junk, basically. What should we eat more of?
Load up on whole, unprocessed foods. Think lots of colorful vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, the kinds you find in avocado, nuts like walnuts and almonds, seeds, olive oil, real food.
Okay, lots of plants, healthy fats. Now, you teased a specific kitchen staple earlier, the prostate powerhouse. Time for the reveal.
Yes, the secret weapon is the humble tomato.
Tomatoes. Really? Why tomatoes?
Tomatoes are absolutely packed with a powerful antioxidant called lycopene.
Lycopene, okay.
Numerous studies have shown lycopene to be incredibly protective for prostate cells. It seems to really help keep them healthy.
Interesting. Any tips on how to best consume them for this benefit?
Yes. Here's a great pro tip. Lycopene is actually better absorbed by your body when the tomatoes are cooked.
Oh, cooked, not raw.
Cooked seems to release it more effectively. So think tomato sauce, tomato paste, even, believe it or not, good quality ketchup can be a decent source. Stewed tomatoes, tomato soup, cooking is key.
Good to know. Cooked tomatoes for lycopene absorption. Okay, pillar 3.
Pillar number 3, consistent physical activity. Get moving.
Does this mean we all need to run marathons?
Haha, definitely not. You don't need to become a hardcore athlete overnight. The key is consistency. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week. Brisk walking is fantastic. Cycling, swimming, whatever you enjoy, and we'll stick with.
Okay, moderate activity most days. What about strength training?
Strength training is also excellent. It's great for regulating hormones, which we know is important for prostate health, and fantastic for overall health too.
Makes sense. Is there any specific type of exercise that's particularly good for this area?
Yes, actually. For targeted support for the bladder and prostate area, there's a remarkably simple and effective exercise. Kegels.
Kegels, are those usually associated with women, like after childbirth?
They often are, but they are incredibly beneficial for men too. Kegel exercises strengthen your pelvic floor muscles. These muscles provide direct support to both the bladder and the prostate. Strengthening them can significantly improve urinary control and overall pelvic function.
Okay. And how do you do them? Are they complicated?
Not at all. That's the best part. They're super simple. You basically just squeeze the muscles you'd use to stop urination midstream, hold for a few seconds, release, repeat, and you can do them absolutely anywhere, anytime, discreetly, sitting at your desk, watching TV. Nobody needs to know.
Simple, discreet, and effective. Okay, Kegels for men, pillar 3 includes specific exercises too. What's the final pillar?
And finally, pillar number 4, hydration. Drink enough water.
Okay, that sounds almost too simple. Does it really make that much difference?
It's simple, but absolutely crucial. Don't underestimate it. Drinking enough water throughout the day does several important things. It helps dilute your urine, which can reduce irritation in the bladder and urethra. It keeps your entire urinary system functioning smoothly.
Flushes things out, maybe?
Exactly. It effectively helps flush out toxins and waste products. Aim for around 2 to 3 liters. It's about 8 to 12 cups of water per day, spread throughout the day.
2 to 3 liters, okay.
It's such a small habit, really, but the cumulative impact on your prostate health and honestly your overall health is huge.
4 pillars: checkups, anti-inflammatory diet with cooked tomatoes, consistent movement including Kegels, and stay hydrated. Seems very actionable.
Absolutely. So just to kind of bring it all together, actively caring for your prostate isn't something you should ignore or just, put off until a problem actually arises. It really is an essential, proactive part of taking charge of your health as a man. It's about ensuring a high quality of life, vitality for decades to come.
Yeah, it's about being proactive, not reactive. And breaking that silence we talked about at the start, getting informed like our listeners are doing right now, and then consistently applying these foundational habits that really is the most powerful first step anyone can take, isn't it?
Couldn't agree more. Your health is ultimately your responsibility. Taking informed action, being consistent, that's the most impactful thing you can possibly do for yourself.
Indeed. And just think about how these things, these seemingly small daily habits we've discussed, the diet changes, the movement, the water, the checkups, once you understand them and actually apply them consistently, they build up, they create this powerful shield, really, for your long-term health, way beyond just the prostate itself.
That's a great way to put it. It's holistic.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Consider these pillars. What's maybe one specific step, just one thing from our deep dive today that you feel ready to integrate into your life starting this week?